This is how you complete all of the Easter eggs on Astra Malorum in Black Ops 7 Zombies. So there's an absolute bunch here. I want to let you know that the commentary in this video is going to interchange between myself and a new commentator I have on the channel called Bob. Since I've been quite ill during the launch week of this map releasing, he stepped in and did some commentaries for me for some of these guides, so you will be hearing from him throughout some of this video. Anyways, the first Easter egg I'm going to show you is the Easter egg song. The song is called Magic. Nevertheless, just like the other maps since Black Ops 6 onwards, there are going to be 3 different Mr. Peaks headphones around the map that you're able to activate with in any order, apart from one which is actually in the Mars location of the main quest. So you are going to have to do a lot of the main quest in order to get here, which is very frustrating. I will show you how to do the main quest later on in this video if you need to know how to get to Mars. So the first Mr. Peaks headphones can be found in the machine at Australis. If you come over to this display cabinet, you can go ahead and press square X or F to interact with that. Moving along, the second Mr. Peaks headphones can be found within the Luminarium. Like you can see in the footage in the background, you want to make your way all the way into the back, and it's right on this bottom shelf here, so you can go ahead and interact with that there. Third and finally, this is the one that requires you to get to Mars in the main quest, and it can be found just in this corner, so you can interact with that there to then play the song. Now I'm only going to play a little 10-second clip because unfortunately it is copyrighted. Typically I like to play the full thing for you, but you can activate it in your game if you want to listen or check out Avenged, Sevenfold's Spotify and YouTube. This next Easter egg I'm going to show you is the insta-kill Wisps lantern Easter egg.
First of all, you need to find the wisp glowing in an otherwise empty lantern. Then, aim down your sights at it for about 5 seconds and it will come to you. You can melee to throw the wisp, which will insta-kill zombies, but you should first take it and fill the other lanterns, as you can see in the background gameplay. Once you do this, the wisp will change color, give the player who completed this a free perk, and begin to respawn for you each round. You can get a wisp from the lanterns you filled, up to 5 per player, and they'll stay with you until you melee to use it. Now, this is actually a pretty useful reward, because when you use the wisp on zombies, it insta-kills them in a small AoE, so it's actually pretty powerful. And if you do this early, everyone can have a 5-stack going into the boss.
Furthermore, I'm now going to show you how to equip the Wunderwaffe DG2 turret to old Tessie in the spawn room of the map, which also plays the remix version of Pareidolia, the Easter egg song from Shangri-La. This is one of the coolest Easter eggs. It's so great, and I love Trek mixing and matching all of these old references now with the OG crew back. So in order to do this, if you head over to the area where the Wisp T perk is on the edge of the map, and you can see a floating asteroid, and what you need to do is throw a Semtex at it, or you can just charge or cook a regular grenade and throw it at it to explode on it when it is by it, and it will cause the asteroid to then float down towards you. And once it is fall down, you are then able to jump onto it, and you can wall jump off of it into the distance. You may incorrectly do this the first time. You need to jump further beyond it instead of to the side of it, and you will then begin floating, and as you are floating, a remix of Pareidolia, the Easter egg song from Shangri-La, will begin playing, and as you are floating, you can then pick up the Wunderwaffe DG2 turret. Now, you can miss this, by the way, so make sure you go ahead and collect it. You can look around whilst you are floating above to get a really nice view of the map, and you get a really nice view coming back onto the map, and then when you are back onto the map, you can come over to Tessie, crashed here in the spawn, and you can interact to then begin applying the DG2 turret onto it. Then when you have crafted it, you can then use the turret at any point. It literally has unlimited ammunition, but on solo it's really not great because the zombies just attack you. I'm sure there's probably an Easter egg step revolving around shooting something in the sky or something more with this. I don't know, but yeah. Now I'm going to play the full remix version of Pareidolia for you to listen to right now. I will now be showing you all 8 of the free power-up Easter eggs on the map, including Fire Sale, which you get for doing all of them first.
Bonus points can be found in the crash site area. Double points can be found in the Machina Australis area. Full power can be found at the Stargazer's Courtyard and Observatory Dome area. Insta-kill can be found at Scholar's Way. Max ammo can be found at the Luminarium. Max armor can be found deeper into the Stargazer's Courtyard. A nuke can be found at the Veil Walk area. And once you've acquired all the other free power-ups, a fire sale can be found in the museum area.
Furthermore, this is how you do the friendly Ravager Easter egg. So first of all, you need to follow the in-game markers to complete the Power and Pack-a-Punch quest. If for whatever reason you need help, there's a link in the description. After you have done this, you then need to locate Oscar on the map. If he is not close to you, you can open up your mini-map to be able to see where he is. The traps are great for being able to defeat him, or the Ray Gun or Mark II, with the Mark II especially good, and also the LGM Wonder Weapon, you would think so. Regardless of how you kill him, when you kill him, you can then pick up the shiny trinket that he will drop on the ground, which is a little toy from Infinite Warfare Zombies of all things, and this will replace your tactical equipment. And you can have up to 5 of these trinkets. After you do this, you need to locate a Ravager in one of the barriers on the map, but it's going to be random which one it is. In this gameplay, I get it within the Archive of Osiris, and when you've located this Ravager, it will have glowing green eyes, and you just want to throw the trinket at it, and when you do so, it will then devour it, and it will have all of this green, I guess, vomit or whatever coming from its mouth. You then need to pass on to the next round, and another Ravager is going to spawn in from then on, again in one of the random barriers on the map. So in this gameplay, I got him where you can see on the TAC map in the background within the Luminarium. So once again, the exact same process. Make sure you have enough trinkets, obviously, and you can just throw it at this glowing green-eyed Ravager, and he'll begin eating the trinket once more, and then he will run away. Once more, you repeat this same process again, go on to another round, and you need to locate one within a barrier. This one is found within Machina Australis, and I can find it here just above the kitchen. So a good tip for this is you will actually see leaking if he is above. So I go onto the top floor, and there he is just over at the top, chilling down, munching on the ground, and then I throw the trinket at the Ravager. Again, he will eat it, but this time he's going to run out of the barrier, and then he'll turn into Bongo, and he's going to start doing the exact same Monkey Bomb symbol animation, and now he's going to be a friendly for you, which is absolutely great. Now, unfortunately, he takes a very long time to actually kill the zombies, so he won't last very long. Hopefully, they can buff this a bit in the future. In addition, I'll now be showing you how to get a free perk power-up from the Skulls Easter egg. So there's going to be 5 different skulls on the map that you can activate in any particular order with a Pack-a-Punched weapon, so make sure you have Pack-a-Punched unlocked. This first one can be found in Machina Australis, so simply come over here and you can see it in this cabinet, so shoot that there, then its eyes will glow purple and you'll be able to interact with it to pick it up. Furthermore, another skull can be found in Museum Infinitum. This one can be again found in this cabinet right here, so just shoot that in the display with the Pack-a-Punch weapon, its eyes will glow purple and then you can pick it up. Furthermore, another skull can be found within the Stargazer's Courtyard, just in this little hole zombie spawn, so again shoot it with your Pack-a-Punch weapon, its eyes will glow purple and you can pick it up. Moving along, we have another one that can be found on the Veil Walk, just here in between the red bricks, where it's a bit damaged, so shoot that with your Pack-a-Punch weapon, then you can go ahead and pick it up. Finally, the 5th skull can be found if you make your way through the crash site and come into the outside area of the Luminarium. This one can be found just in this corner, in the little crevice in front of the red brick, so shoot it with your Pack-a-Punch weapon, its eyes will glow purple and you can pick it up once more. Then if you come over to Machina Australis, you can find this desk with some candles on it, and there is also a mirror, and you can place all of the skulls that you have collected down onto these red pendant symbols. You can place these in any order, by the way. In my previous tutorial I said you had to place them in the specific order of the gameplay in the background, so simply just place them all down. After you place them all of the eyes will glow purple and they will all lift up, spin, sit back down, the eyes won't be glowing anymore, and then they are going to lift up one at a time with glowing purple eyes and spin. And essentially you need to note down the exact order that each of them lifts up. It's going to be random in your game, so you can record the gameplay, you can take screenshots, you can keep a notepad, you can have a friend or family recording the order for you, whatever the case may be. Play this game of Simon Says. After all 5 have span, you then need to shoot all of the skulls in the exact order that they lifted up. Again, like you can see in the gameplay in the background, and if you do it correctly, all of the skulls will then float up and converge on the middle one, which will cause it to condense into a literal power-up, which will then give you a free random perk power-up for all of the players in the game. Swiftly along, I'll now be showing you how to do the 3 Gramophones Easter eggs, which can get you 3 free mystery perma-perks. So there are 3 different discs located around the map, and 3 different gramophones that you are able to insert them into. Each one will play different tracks, one from Alpha Omega, I guess teasing that's the next map, the Game Over music, there's one that's the buried piano, and there is also some music from Transit. So there are 3 different gramophone discs located around the map, and you can collect these all at once and in any particular order, but I would recommend just doing them one at a time. So the first gramophone can be found in Museum Infinitum, and just to the left of the crafting bench, you can see it just over here above on the wall. Now you do actually need to wall jump up to be able to then interact with it to then collect it. And then still in the museum, you can come over to this gramophone by the little fencing and pillar and insert the gramophone into it, which will begin playing the classic song. And then whilst the song is playing, you need to go ahead and get melee kills nearby to it. So I'd recommend pack-a-punching a melee weapon, maybe having melee macchiato to make this easier for you. After you have managed to kill enough zombies and collected enough souls, the song concludes and it will spit out a free mystery perk for you and a bunch of salvage on the ground. Secondly, the other gramophone is located in Machina Australis, and this can be found if you come past this pillar by this grandfather clock. It can be found just in this box here, so go ahead and interact with that. Then if you come over to the Archive of Orbis, another gramophone can be found just on this table in front of the chair, so you can go and interact with it to place the gramophone. Again, it will play a classic song, and this time the trial you are going to have to do is whilst it is playing, you need to get kills with equipment. So try and have some stacked up. I would recommend Semtexes or Molotovs, or I guess you can use Casimirs or Monkey Bombs. Of course, this is going to be much easier if you are in a team, but as far as I'm aware, I think it just gives you one perk, not a shared one, between your teammates. Then when you have managed to collect enough souls with equipment, it will give you a bunch of loot, including another mystery perk, and you will get a bunch of equipment and also a stim shot. The third gramophone can be found in the Luminarium, and you want to head over where the gameplay in the background is showing, and it is located on the top floor of this bookshelf. You might need to jump up to collect this, I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, interact with the disc there, and then still within the Luminarium, you can come back here, and next to these 2 couches is going to be another gramophone you can insert the disc into, and another classic song will begin to play. This time you need to go ahead and get kills with your field upgrades, so make sure you are using one that is able to get kills. After you have gotten enough kills and the song ends, it will spit out your free mystery perk once more, and it will give you a bunch of essence. Now you are also able to redo these gramophones once per round afterwards to get additional loot, but you won't get a free perk from them. Maybe this is just a way for, you know, extra teammates to go ahead and get more loot. There's probably a limitation on it, maybe like 4 maximum or 3. I'm not 100% sure. You can let me know in the comments. Now I'm going to play the audio of all of the songs from the gramophones. Like I said, they play Alpha Omega's Game Over song, they play the piano from Buried, they also play some music from Transit. I don't know if this is hinting at Zombies Chronicles 2, but it's very interesting nevertheless. I'll play that for you now. I'll now be showing you how to do the Nikolai side quest on the map, where we learn about him bonding with a goat demon in Afghanistan, which can also get you a free legendary shotgun. So just like the Dempsey 1 and Ashes of the Damned, you need to be playing as Nikolai in your game in order to do this, and there is a calling card challenge for this as well that looks pretty sick. So the first thing you are going to have to do is you need 3 Molotovs, so either get them from the crafting bench, or you've got them on your loadout, or just from random loot, and you need to throw the 3 Molotovs at 3 specific locations in the exact order that I'm about to show you. So there's going to be this little dirt patch if you come to the Abyssal Rim, and you need to throw the Molotov here, and if you do it correctly, you'll get a quote from Nikolai, and then a footprint trail of flaming feet will begin spawning in, and you just want to follow this trail where there is this staircase, and then throw another Molotov here, and the footprint trail will then extend a bit further, and again you then need to throw another Molotov right at the end, and the footprint trail will continue, and this time it'll take you over to this little cave in a ridge in the rock. Nikolai will say you'll be safe here, so simply interact with the cave. You don't need to throw another Molotov like the gameplay in the background shows, and it will then put you inside the cave, and you will then get the cutscene sequence. The rest is self-explanatory. Now when you come out, you will get a free legendary shotgun at the end, which is great as well, and I am going to have a full storyline video explaining this later on the channel, but for a quick summary, this is uncovering Nikolai's traumatic backstory, where there was a village massacre in Afghanistan, and Nikolai quote-unquote tried saving good people, the villagers, the children, the elders, from the Spetsnaz by hiding them in caves. That's why he says when you're doing this, you will be safe there. Spetsnaz will not ask questions, only kill. However, just like Dempsey, Nikolai also got bonded with a dark ether demon, who unwittingly lured the vulnerable hiding in these caves, mimicking Nikolai's voice, who slaughtered everyone. Their eyes and mouths were stolen, their bodies ripped apart, ripped to pieces like paper dolls. Chanel house. Their eyes are missing. Nikolai ran and tried to confront regarding being marked by this entity, and tried to fight the invisible entity, which you actually see in the cutscene. He says, "My bullets, they pass right through it. Its fingers moving in my mind. It hungered, breathed cold death, laughed." And we learn from Caltharis, who reveals that the demon is Tor Bala, who built horrors from victims, towers built using their hearts, lined its chambers with their lungs, and used Nikolai's voice as a lure, and forever marked him as a favored servant. "You bear my sign, served me well," which sounds awfully like you bear the mark from Shadows of Evil with the Shadow Man and the crew on that map. Nikolai is haunted with guilt and denial. Bozamoy, what have I done? I only wanted to save them. Nikolai will never be able to make right, but he will try. And the children literally drew with chalk in the caves of Nikolai helping them and being the good tank commander. He pointed at them from the tank, telling them a safe place to reside. He didn't know what horrors lied beyond. Deep in the cave, you then come to a ritual site where you see, I think, a goat's head, and this is clearly where someone made a pact with this entity long ago. And you can see all of these sacrifices here of the dead animals. The goat with all of the blood, skulls, and guts spewed everywhere, and you can see the ancient people from a while ago who seemingly worshipped this entity, which is why he holds dominion here, and there's even a pendant in its chest, and it has these glowing red eyes, so creepy. He recognizes this toy that is picked up during this cutscene that he likely gave to one of the children to play with whilst they hid in the cave, of a goat just like the demon resembles. Maybe this toy is what the ancient ritualers made a pact with, and it's essentially a voodoo toy. He denies the service, saying, "Never, I did not, I will not serve." But how can Nikolai feel guilty? At the end of the day, his voice was stolen. He didn't consent to this. Yes, they trusted him, and in the end they thought they were betrayed by him, but it wasn't his fault. Nikolai didn't know, and he had no way of knowing that when he was trying to help these people, there was actually a dark ether demon present in the caves, and he was essentially luring them into a trap. And this whole Easter egg really reminds me of the Vietnam Zombies Easter egg in the Black Ops Cold War campaign. That's a very similar premise, going down a dark tunnel with zombies in. So yeah, I'm guessing on the future maps we're going to find out how all of the other characters were bonded with the dark ether entities, which really makes me wonder who Richtofen bonded with, because the others so far seem unwilling. It makes me wonder if Richtofen intentionally bonded with a dark ether entity, and then he nuked New York, did all of the atrocities to win the war for the Reich, becoming a hero of the Reich, and it all could have been influenced by a dark ether demon. I genuinely think this is one of the darkest backstories we've ever gotten in Call of Duty Zombies history. It's so gory, so gruesome. I want to see more of this in the dark ether storyline, and like I say, I think Richtofen's could be even worse than this, because he might have been a willing participant. I can't believe this dark ether entity literally built towers out of the dead body parts and organs. The cutscene then ends with a bunch of Ravagers coming in that you have to defend against, and you then get a Ravager death animation right at the end. So maybe this was the fate of those who laid there, or it's just meant to represent the demon ripping them to shreds. Now, like I said, I'm going to make an in-depth video in the future breaking this down more in depth, but this is just my initial reaction. I'm going to play the full cutscene for you now. Thank you for watching and enjoy.
Molotov lit! Someone hot-footed through here. Hot-footed? No, fuck you. More footprints. Nikolai is being given runaround. You will be safe there. Only one. Sending Molotov! Was that close? I can't even tell anymore. What are you? I know this toy. Why is it here? They are good people. I will not let Spetsnaz hurt them. They will be safe here.
You came as a savior offering sanctuary, but you delivered them to something far, far worse.
Example of you. You can trust Nikolai. Spetsnaz will not ask questions, only kill them. Please, you must believe you are hiding terrorists.
A demon made its home here, hungering in the darkness.
Nikolai did not know. God help me, I did not know. What happened here?
Their mouths to feed. It built a tower of their hearts, lined its chambers with their lungs, their skin. But the voice it used to lure them, that was yours. did serve Nikolai, consciously or no. And the creature marked you a most favored servant.
Nikolai will never be able to make light. But he will try.
Bonus points! Full power!
Now earlier I showed you how to obviously play the remixed version of Pareidolia, however the classic version of Pareidolia can also be played from Shangri-La, which is again another teaser towards the map being set on Mars, because in the main quest, which I'll show you later how to get to in the video, when you are within the Mars section there is this large head statue, and if you aim down sight at it for a few seconds it will begin playing the original version of Pareidolia, again hinting at Shang being on Mars, and this is tying into an old conspiracy regarding a head seen on Mars, one of the classic Martian conspiracies. Believing a giant rock to be a head, which is the definition of Pareidolia. Believing something is there because you've set your mind to it when it actually isn't. I'll play the whole song for you now. I'll now be showing you how to do the Twins Secret Announcer side Easter egg on the map. Yes, they are back from Ashes of the Damned.
Now, first things first, you have to wait for a Ravager round. But once you hit a Ravager round, interact with the empty display cases until one of them makes a creepy sound. After this, starting with the next round, one empty display case will play some creepy sounds on its own. Interact with this display case, and it'll make a different sound. You have to do this step 3 times, once per round. Now, it's important to note that you actually can't fail either of these steps, so feel free to interact with every display case until you get the right ones. Once you do this, the twins will spawn and drop some loot for you, and they'll come back in other spots occasionally.
You can get free perks from this, salvage, armor, equipment, score streaks, and the first time you interact with the twins, you will get a free Cryofreeze that can help you out for the main quest. Subsequent interactions and loot from the twins though won't get you this. So you can come back and interact with the twins a couple more times on future rounds to get even more loot from them. You can also get free weapons from this. For example, I get a purple weapon.
It does seem like there will be an Easter egg of this sort on every map going forward, given that the twins are present in Ashes of the Damned and Astra Malorum so far, and they seem to be story related, seemingly being the announcers that replace the boss in each map after you complete the main quest.
Furthermore, this is how you do the rocket launch Easter egg on Astra Malorum.
Now, occasionally on Astra Malorum, near the Abyssal Rim area, if you look outside the map, you can sometimes see the Zarya Cosmodrome rocket that we launched as part of the Ashes of the Damned Easter egg. Now, if you aim down your sights at this rocket when it appears, the game will actually start playing the Eisendrache rocket launch soundtrack in the background. Now, it's important to note that the rocket spawns on a seemingly random basis, so you're never going to be 100% sure when it appears, and there doesn't seem to be a way to force spawn it. But a good way to get a better look at it when it does spawn is to do the DG2 turret side Easter egg. I always enjoy these sorts of map-to-map connections, and I think these sorts of details are an important and well-done aspect of world building in zombies. So happy to see an Easter egg like this in Astra Malorum. Let us know in the comments what you think of this side Easter egg and of Astra Malorum.
I'll now be showing you how to do the Creepy Skull Jumpscare Easter egg on the map. So the first thing you need to do is turn on the power on the map. If you don't know how to do that, the game literally guides you, but I do have a video linked below as well. After which, still within the observatory dome, the Pack-a-Punch room, there are going to be these 5 different cogs located around the room. However, only one of them is going to be steaming at a time, and essentially you need to locate which one is steaming, as I will be shooting them all in the gameplay in the background, and you need to shoot these 5 steaming cogs quickly in succession that I believe are random and are going to be different in every single game, so just traverse in a circular motion like the gameplay you are watching in the background and try and be successful and shoot all 5 of the steaming cogs. Once you have managed to successfully shoot all 5 of the steaming cogs, you will now be able to activate the telescope by going up to the organ and interacting with the goggles that are right next to the typewriter. So you'll begin looking at space and you can move around here, and you essentially want to be looking out for a little skull. Now there is a step here to hover over the sun, which will spawn a laser to laser Oscar with for a step for the LGM wonder weapon, but that's not what you want to do if you want to do the jump scare. So you simply want to search for this little skull, and as soon as you have managed to successfully locate it, you just want to hover there for a few seconds, after which you will then get the jump scare. I'll now be showing you how to do the clocks Easter egg on the map. So there's a bunch of grandfather clocks, and basically you just need to melee them as you are seeing in the gameplay in the background. So I melee this one in Archive of Orbis, then come through Machina Australis onto this second floor, and then in the corner I melee the second one here. Then coming back down, there's another clock here that you can then melee, this time at the ground of Machina Australis, coming back all the way up through Machina Australis, through Scholar's Way, into Museum Infinitum. There's another clock that you can then melee here. Then from Museum Infinitum, you can then come outside through the Stargazer's courtyard into the Luminarium, and in this corner is the fifth and final clock that you can then melee. But what does it actually do? Well, what it does is it time warps your game. As you can see, it goes slightly blurry, and essentially all of the zombies will then be slowed down for a minute. So the zombies will be slowed down for a minute, and as far as we're aware, we're not sure if there's anything further with this Easter egg just yet, but this can be useful for some specific Easter egg steps, for example in the main quest, and you are actually able to activate this once around. I guess this is really useful as well for taking out Oscar, or the step in the Easter egg where you have to take him to all of the traps. But yeah, personally I think this is just a feature to get you equipped with doing certain steps in the Easter egg. It's just a little addition. There may be more to it, but personally I don't think there is, but if you have any leads, let me know in the comments. Furthermore, I'll now be showing you how to get the free LGM1, the Little Green Man Wonder Weapon. So in order to do this, you first need to activate the power and unlock Pack-a-Punch on the map. If you don't know how to do that, the game literally guides you with the objective markers, and I also have a video in the description. So there are going to be 4 different parts that you're able to collect in any particular order. The first are 3 different absolute zero pieces, and these can be gotten from the purple dark ether crystals that you can find around the map. So I would recommend just leaving these crystals until you are ready to actually get the parts from them, but you need to have the Cryofreeze armor mod applied to your weapon, and you need to then be shooting these crystals with Cryofreeze to be able to get the different absolute zero pieces. Furthermore, you now need to get the Abherent wires, and you need to locate a flashing lamppost which is located on the outside of the observatory. So the lamppost that is going to be flashing in your game is going to be random, so just look around the outside areas until you are lucky enough to manage to locate one that is flashing, and then you simply need to shoot it, which will drop the wires onto the ground, and you can then collect them. So for this next part, you need to encounter Oscar that's going to be looming around the map, and when you encounter him, be careful, but you need to destroy one of his drones, and this will drop a damaged drone piece onto the floor that you are able to then collect. The other part is the car battery. This one can be found in the spawn of the map, and you need a Pack-a-Punch weapon, and if you come over to Tessie, you are able to shoot its bonnet to open it up, which will drop the battery of the vehicle onto the ground, which you are then able to collect. After you have gotten these parts, you now need to kill Oscar in every single of the 3 different traps on the map, and you can do these in any particular order. So first of all, if you head into the Luminarium, you can insert the battery you have collected into the Electrovolt projector, and you need to lure Oscar into this room, so just make sure he is in, and once he is in, you can then activate the Electrovolt projector. So for this one, you don't actually need to kill Oscar with the trap, you just need to basically have the trap activate and finish the entire sequence with Oscar in the room. He mustn't leave the room, otherwise this will fail and you'll have to repeat this on the following round, but if he remains in the room the whole time when the trap finishes, that will be that done and you'll be able to collect. Now you need to then progress onto the next round at minimum to be able to get another Oscar to spawn in on the map, after which you can head over to another one of these traps. So in this case I'm in the Museum Infinitum, then I need to lure Oscar in once again and activate the rocket trap right as he is going in it, which will cause him to explode once more. Now for this one you need to have the 3 crystals collected that I showed you how to do earlier. However, if you fail this, you will have to repeat this and go ahead and collect the 3 crystals once more. Third and finally, if you come into the observatory dome, the Pack-a-Punch room, for this final trap you need to activate it first. There are going to be different cogs that you need to shoot around the room that you can see in the gameplay in the background, which will begin moving the wheel of the telescope. So there are going to be 5 different cogs in particular, however there's only going to be one that is steaming at a time, and you need to shoot them all in quick succession like you can see in the gameplay in the background. So you just want to shoot one after the other after the other, after the other, after the other. And one of them is located next to the portal teleporter for quick travel back to spawn. Once you have successfully shot all 5 of the cogs/valves in quick succession, you can then lure Oscar into the room. You now have the ability to interact with the telescope, so go and interact with the piano. And once he's in the room, if you go up to the pipe organ, you can then interact with the telescope, and you need to line up the crosshair with the sun. And there is also a jump scare Easter egg with this, so I would just avoid this for now. Once you have lined it up with the sun, when you come out, the laser beam will begin firing out that hot beam, and then you need to lure Oscar into it. He will begin exploding, after which he will drop the LGM wonder weapon for you that you can then collect. And this wonder weapon is absolutely sick. It shoots out a literal UFO disc that basically has infinite ammo because it propels back to you and goes through all of the halls, and is amazing and necessary for the boss fight as well. And of course you can pack a punch it as well to make it even better. It's literally like throwing a frisbee. Okay, so lastly, I'll now be showing you how to do the full main quest on Astra Malorum. I'll hand it off to Bob to now show you what to do.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to complete the Astra Malorum main quest, visit Mars, and unlock the exclusive calling card, as well as the Nikolai bottled up operator scan. To get one of the necessary items immediately, you'll want to open the right door from spawn into the museum. Immediately as you enter, turn left and head towards the wall, and you'll see a display case against the wall. Inside it will be a rock saw. Shoot or punch out the glass, and you can pick up the rock saw to be used later. After you've done this, you'll want to proceed as usual, turning on the power and unlocking the pack-a-punch. If you're unsure how to do this, you can follow the in-game hints or watch our tutorial. Once you've turned the power on, you can begin the main quest, most of which involve the map's unique elite enemy, Oscar. You'll need to create 3 different traps to kill Oscar with, which will make him drop the LGM-1 wonder weapon. The first trap needed to kill Oscar can be found and activated in the observatory. Once you turn the power on, there will be several valves around the room. One valve at a time will be actively spinning, while additionally making a hissing noise. You must shoot 5 different spinning valves, which will cause the machine to rotate, angling the laser emitter towards the ground. If you take too long to shoot a valve, the step will time out, and after waiting for a bit, the first valve in the sequence will turn on again. You'll now need to bring Oscar inside the observatory. Oscar will make a global sound cue every time he spawns into the map. You can spawn him into the map by simply passing rounds. You'll want to bring Oscar into this room and on top of the platform under the laser. Once he's there, interact with the telescope, and when using it, move until your cursor is centered on the sun. Once done, it will cause the laser to activate. You must make Oscar move under the laser and destroy his protective UFO drones, enabling the laser to blow him up. Once done successfully, you'll get a white flash and the laser will turn off. The first time you destroy one of his UFO drones, it will drop a damaged drone part, which you will need later, so be sure to pick that up. For the next trap, the laser trap that is located in the Luminarium, you'll need to retrieve 3 items. The simplest of these is picking up the damaged drone, which was just mentioned. You can then get the car battery in the spawn area once you have a pack-punch upgraded weapon. Head to spawn and look at old Tessie, and shoot the car bonnet a few times, and the car battery will pop out. Finally, somewhere outdoors on the map, a lamppost will have a rapidly blinking light. Shooting the light will cause the aberrant wiring to drop out. Once you've collected the damaged drone, the car battery, and the aberrant wiring, you'll need to bring Oscar to the Luminarium and interact with the laser trap while he's in the room. This will place a device on the trap, and by interacting again while he's in the room, you will start overcharging Oscar's battery. To complete this, you don't need to kill Oscar, but just survive inside the room until the bar fills up. After doing so, Oscar will explode. The final trap is the rocket, which is found in the museum next to Speed Cola. To activate the rocket, you'll need to get 3 Absolute Zero crystals. To get these, you'll need to destroy 3 purple crystals around the map with your weapon, with the Cryofreeze ammo mod equipped. Crystals will respawn at the start of new rounds if you can't find enough of them. Once you have the 3 required crystals, you'll need to bring Oscar to the rocket. On the side of the display will be an activation button, which will start a 5-second countdown. There will be a blast of frost coming from the rocket thrusters when activated, which you must make Oscar stand in by the end of the countdown. You don't have to destroy his protective shield for this step. If done successfully, Oscar will die to the rocket thruster's frost blast. Once you've killed Oscar successfully using each of these 3 traps, he'll drop the LGM-1 wonder weapon. After you've picked up the wonder weapon, you'll need to proceed until Oscar spawns it again. This time you'll have to stay behind him and follow him, making sure not to be detected. Over the course of 2 minutes, he'll start playing audio logs from his victims. You'll want to keep following him until he plays the audio log of victim number 20, Dr. Thurston. Thurston will list the names of 3 planets, which you must remember in the order they are listed.
Stay up there while I draw Oscar away. And remember, Neptune, Mercury, Earth.
Each of these planets correlates to a number based on its distance from the Sun, shown on screen now, with the closest planet, Mercury, being number 1. These 3 planets will make up a 3-digit code, which you must input into the machine inside the observatory. Entering the correct code will cause the elevated platform to lower, allowing you to climb up and pick up the cryochamber key from the body. Now that you have the cryochamber key, you can head to the cryochamber containing Dr. Thurston, located between the museum and Machina Australis. You can use the key to unlock the chamber, then use the rock saw picked up at the start of the match from the museum to cut out his brain. Once you've picked up the brain, you'll want to head to the Luminarium. In the outside room with Juggernog, on a table next to a door, you'll see a jar with a monkey's brain inside. You'll want to interact with it twice, first replacing the monkey brain with Dr. Thurston's, then initiating a defense step where you must protect the brain canister from zombies. After succeeding with the defense, you'll be able to pick up the canister. When carrying the canister, your movement speed will be massively reduced. You'll want to take the canister to Machina Australis, placing it inside the console on the table of the room's ground floor. Once you've done this, you'll want to head back to the observatory and interact with the telescope. This time, you'll want to position your cursor in the center of Mars, so the planet is within the entire circle. As part of the coordinates, you will see the letters DEC followed by 4 digits. Note down these 4 digits. Head back to Machina Australis. Going up the first set of stairs, you'll find a panel that, after interacting with, will allow you to input the 4-digit code you just obtained. Once you've successfully input the code, a terminal on the table down below will start cycling through Dr. Thurston's reading list. You must note the names of each book that appears on the screen. In the adjacent library, there will be 3 bookshelves, each containing 3 books. I'll show a graphic on screen now to indicate the bookshelf locations and the titles of the 3 books on each shelf. Next to each of these 3 bookshelves will be a statue. You must interact with each of the 3 statues a certain number of times. The number of times you interact with each statue can either be 1, 0, or 2, and is determined by how many of the books on the statue's closest shelf appeared in Dr. Thurston's reading list. Once you've successfully done this, a hatch at the top of the ladder inside the library will open up. You'll be able to pick up a model of the planet Neptune by climbing to the top and interacting with it. Now that you've got Neptune, head back to Machina Australis. On the top floor by a balcony, you'll be able to attach the planet to a string. Now that you've done this, you'll need to find 3 pieces of paper on a table around the map, and note down their contents. Each of these pieces will depict a unique planet, either Mars, Saturn, or Neptune, as well as one of 4 directions: northwest, northeast, southwest, or southeasts. The pieces of paper can be found on a table in Machina Australis, on the table in the library, and on a table in the Luminarium. Going to the center of the ground floor in Machina Australis and looking up, you'll see all of the planets as well as a compass. You must move each respective planet to the direction shown on the pieces of paper. You can do this by shooting the planets from the side to rotate them. Once you've successfully moved each planet to its correct location, interacting with the console will trigger a lockdown step. This lockdown will not trigger unless all 3 planets have been correctly aligned, but you can try interacting with the console as many times as you'd like in a round. The lockdown will spawn an unkillable Oscar who will shoot UFOs towards the charging teleporter in the center of the room. You must shoot and destroy the UFOs until the charge is complete. Doing this step successfully will activate the teleporter, which will automatically take you to Mars. Once you're on Mars, you'll want to head to the center of the area, and you'll find the canister containing Dr. Thurston's brain. Pick it up and take it up the stairs, then hold interact to turn on the machine. Turning on the machine will now allow you to teleport back to Astra Malorum. By interacting with the machine again, you'll cause a sound to play. After this sound plays, for a short time, you'll be able to see a small flying object outside a window on the opposite side. You'll be able to see 4 pylons, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. You'll want to shoot the ball on top of the closest pylon to the drone, causing it to move towards the now lit up ball. You'll then want to shoot the next closest pylon to the drone until you've got all 4. Once you've got the drone to the closest pylon outside the map, you'll want to turn and shoot a ball on top of the temple, causing the object to enter the play arena, flying around. The object will fly around the arena and occasionally drop lower down, entering range to be caught. To catch it, you must jump and interact with it in midair. You'll need to utilize anti-gravity to do this, which automatically enables and disables after a short amount of time on Mars. You'll want to shoot the same ball on top of the temple every 15 seconds or so to stop the object from flying out of the arena. Once you've caught and picked up the Ascendant Eye, you'll want to place it inside this hole. Doing so will cause each of the 5 pillars to project a rod. You must shoot all 5 of these with the LGM-1 Wonder Weapon, with each of these causing the symbol on the pillar to turn blue when done so successfully. Once you've shot all 5 rods, you'll want to head back to the observatory. Interacting with the piano will display symbols that match the ones lit up on the pillars. The piano will show these symbols in the order that you need to interact with the lit up symbols on the pillars. However, one of the piano symbols will be hidden, so you'll need to work out which remaining one this is by matching with the other 4. This graphic on screen will help you match each symbol from the piano with the corresponding symbol from the pillar. If you're unsure about the symbols you got from the piano or the order they're in, you can interact with it as many times as you want. Once you've interacted with the 5 pillar symbols in the correct order, you'll be ready for the final encounter. To begin, interact with the machine on the top of the stairs on Mars. The Mars area will be the boss fight arena, with this boss having 4 different forms you'll have to defeat. The first boss will be the giant skull. This skull, with Astra Malorum itself on top of its head, will use the observatory's laser to fire upon you constantly. You must kill zombies until you get a white flash. Once you do this, the firing sequence will be ready to activate by holding interact at the machine atop the stairs. You'll need to do this a total of 3 times, with each mini-phase adding new attacks to the boss. Activating the firing sequence for the first time concludes Phase 1. Phases 2 to 4 are all very similar to each other. In all of them, you'll be fighting a mobile rock version of Caltharis, with each respective phase increasing Caltharis' lethality by adding stronger attacks with increased range, as well as lingering area of effect damage from the thrown rocks in the 4th and final phase. You must defeat this form of Caltharis 3 times in the same way. You'll first want to shoot Caltharis' armor until a critical weak point is exposed, allowing you to do massively increased damage. The key to defeating Caltharis is to keep moving to ensure you survive, and make sure to look out for and dodge the thrown rocks. If you're close to Caltharis, then make sure to jump when she slams the ground to avoid massive damage. This boss fight will not give any max ammo or max armor drops, so if needed, you should also kill zombies to ensure you have enough points to buy ammo from an ammo crate. Defeating the 4th and final phase of the boss, Caltharis the Needle, will immediately trigger the ending cutscene and grant you the quest rewards. Thanks for watching, and let us know if this guide helped you with the Easter egg in the comments below.
Now, just like on the prior maps from Shadvale onwards, if you do the boss fight on round 100 plus, you will get a hardcore version of this boss fight as well, so you can do this for an additional challenge, but unfortunately there's not an additional reward for this. The key differences being that the arena is scaled to round 100, so the zombies move at full high round speeds, they hit much harder, heavy zombies deal massive armor damage and drop fewer armor plates than expected, making crowd control far more punishing. Zombie damage scaling continues into the boss arena without capping, exasperating chip damage from unavoidable hits. The boss phase mechanics advance earlier and intensify. Phase 2 introduces toxic gas filling the entire arena, whereas it's normally just a later mechanic, and purple electricity on the ground. Phase 3 brings in purple electric rocks, typically exclusive to Phase 4, creating more area denial and forcing constant movement. Overall, the boss feels faster, hits harder, and has increased health/strength across phases, with no max ammo or max ammo drops between phases, only purchasable caches at point cost. Phase 1 gas still caps HP at 175, non-lethal auto heals, but later phases ramp up lasers, projectiles, asteroids, punches, and slams from Caltharis. These changes make the 4th phase gauntlet emphasize more on movement with the anti-gravity jumps. I would recommend using PhD floppers and environmentalist augments for raw community, the meta loadouts being the Jaeger, the LGM, the wonder weapons are good for breaking armor, the Ray Gunner Mark II, the Frenzied Guard exploit has been patched by the way. So if you are successful and you manage to fully defeat Caltharis, you will then have unlocked the ability to unlock Relics, additional Easter eggs inside of the Curse mode. Now, for Ashes of the Damned, I decided to include all of these in my all Easter eggs video, but I do realize that it's a very separate thing, so this time I'm going to be doing a separate video for them. This is just all of the Easter eggs, the regular ones on the map, especially because a few of them are not even solved yet, and a couple that we do have solved, we don't even have the correct steps yet. So I figured it would just be better to wait until they're all properly solved to do a separate video on them, instead of just including them in this video. That wouldn't be that beneficial anyways, so I'll leave a link to that in the description once it's live. Anyways, thank you for watching this video showing you how to do all of the side Easter eggs on Astra Malorum as well as the main quest. Hopefully this video has been useful. I'll see you with plenty more to come. Bye.